Hi, my name is David P. Shapiro. I'm the owner and managing partner of the law office of David P. Shapiro, located in San Diego, California, where my firm helps good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. And in this video, I want to talk to you about the significance if you are faced with or accused of having committed a sexual assault or any type of sex crime, to hire a criminal defense law firm who actually has experience defending those types of cases. Because far too often, we see clients or potential clients that come to us and say, hey, I want to make a change with my lawyer. They've had the case for a year. There's all these accusations going on. And we're like, okay, well, let's break it down, right? At a certain point in our conversation, we start talking about the history of the case, the procedural history of the case. What was going on between your arraignment and the first readiness conference? What were the discussions like that your attorney was having with the district attorney? What was he or she doing as it relates to investigation, discussing with you the option of hiring a top-end investigator experienced in interviewing witnesses, accusing other individuals of sexual assault, experienced in social media background check, research and investigations? What type of forensic psychologist did that attorney or law firm refer you to, or at least discuss with you the possibility of bringing on board, whether one, as a mitigation component, if it's a case that is in your best interest to try and resolve by way of some sort of negotiated plea agreement, or is it a case where we want to bring someone on as a consultant for trial and possibly expert testimony at trial to basically get up there and say, well, I fully assessed this individual and they lack any of the criteria of what we normally see people who commit these types of offenses. It's called a STOLL, S-T-O-L-L, expert. And far too often, potential clients that are interviewing with our firm or meeting with our firm are telling us that none of that is done. And, their attorney may not have even advised them of, what's known as a multiple victim enhancement. So you have a situation where you have 2 or 3 accusers. And, let's say, for an example, you have 2 accusers under 14. Say something happened. Whether it happened or not, for purposes of this analysis, right, doesn't really matter. You have 2 accusers. Maximum you get on one is 8. Maximum you could possibly get on the other is 2. If you run them consecutive, you're looking at 10 years, right? A lot of attorneys will say, "Oh, listen, you're only looking at 10 years, so let's not consider any resolution, even if the evidence is stacked up against you." But what a lot of times those attorneys fail to realize is what's going to come maybe after a preliminary hearing. What could come if the case proceeds to trial, and that's a multiple victim enhancement that turns these cases into 15 years to life on each count. So you want a law firm, you need a law firm, you deserve a law firm who has experience in the types of cases that you're handling. And, whether it's a DUI or whether it's a homicide, but certainly when you're dealing with sexual assault type cases, you need a firm that has experience, that has no reservation representing you at all based on the accusations. Some may be very serious, maybe very heinous accusations made against you. And you want a law firm that has experience litigating these cases, motion work, trial work, post-preliminary hearing, what's known as a 995 motion, having some success to know what's coming, to know what type of work needs to be done, to know what type of work should be done in order to maximize your chances of getting the best results possible. So you want to be asking the law firms that you're hiring or considering hiring, hey, what type of experience do you have in these cases? How many cases have you done roughly? We're talking about you've done 2 or 3 sexual assault cases, or you have 7 or 8 right now that are active. How many lifetime sexual assault cases have you handled as far as where your client was facing up to life in prison if they're convicted? Generally speaking, what are your thoughts on consulting with experts? What are your thoughts with getting an investigator on board? What are your thoughts with hiring a jury consultant if the case proceeds to trial, especially in a sexual assault case where the presumption, unfortunately, is with a lot of times jurors will say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, no one's ever accused me of molesting them. No one's ever accused me of sexually assaulting them, let alone 3 people. So that person had to have done it. That's the mindset. That's a natural mindset. It's not natural. It shouldn't be natural in a courtroom, in a criminal case, but it's a natural mindset that so many people have. And how do you combat that? How do you deal with it? How do you address it? So keep that in mind. First and foremost, we hope you're not charged with the sexual assault. We hope you have not committed a sexual assault, and certainly that you're not accused of it, especially if you're wrongfully accused of it. But if you are accused of committing a crime, specifically a sexual assault crime, we hope this video has been helpful to know what to look for in the law firm that you're going to consider hiring to represent you. So, in summary, make sure they have that experience in those types of cases. Make sure they could give at least a general roadmap of how they usually handle these cases. Make sure they're familiar, up to date with the law, and that they have trial experience, not necessarily because every one of these cases go to trial. A lot of them do. But just because they could identify, and that attorney in that law firm is experienced enough to identify what could be potential issues down the road because we've been through it. We've dealt with it. We have a history of handling similar type cases. So we hope this video has been helpful. Like I indicated, if you have any questions about your case, whether it's a sexual assault case or any criminal case in San Diego County, you can always reach my firm, 619-295-3555. Again, David Shapiro, San Diego criminal lawyer at the law office of David P. Shapiro, where we help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. 619-295-3555.